I'd like to show you how to set up your bibliography if you're using Google Docs. This is a bibliography for a longer paper, perhaps a final project in a course, and normally the bibliography begins on the top of the page. So if this is the end of your paper, place your cursor right before bibliography and insert a page break. Now the bibliography should be set up so that the entries are alphabetical by author's last name and there's a hanging indent. What that means is that the first line of every entry starts at the left margin, but every other line is indented half an inch. Now you could do that manually for each of these, but I want to show you shortcuts. One is to use the ruler, and the other is to use format. So I'll show you the ruler first. The ruler is always visible from the view menu. You just have to have that clicked. And once that is on, just select all of your entries at once, and from the ruler you're going to click on this blue group. There's a little rectangle at the top and a diamond at the bottom. Pull the whole thing over by rolling over it and then dragging, clicking and dragging. That pulls the entire left margin of top line and subsequent lines of each paragraph over, and now you're going to click just on that rectangle and pull it back to your left margin. Notice that that controlled, oops, we're not quite at the margin, there we go. Notice that that controls the first line, but all the rest of them stay indented. Now you can see that all of your author's last names are more visible. But you can also see that they're not alphabetized, and these do have to be alphabetized by author's last name. Now you could cut and paste every one into a manual alphabetization, but there is another shortcut. Unfortunately, you can't just hit a button and alphabetize this list like you can in Microsoft Word, but there's another way to do it. Select all of your entries, hit Command-C for copying them, open up a blank Google Sheet, place your cursor in the first cell, and hit Control-V to paste them in. Google Sheets allows you to alphabetize, so just go to Data, Sort Sheet, and you're sorting by column A, which is each of these entries starts with the author's last name, and it sorts them all alphabetically. And now what you want to do is copy and paste these back into your document. You can't do it directly because if you do, you'll bring in all of these rows as separate rows, and we don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is take all of these entries, select them, and then I'm going to save, let's see, use this menu, I have to use the right one, use the Save menu, File, and Save, or Download I should say, and we're going to download it as a simple one of these two, it doesn't really matter which, but let's say tab separated values, because what that'll do is create a simple document without all the rows. Now that is down here a little bit off screen. The downloads usually show up at the bottom of your browser window. So go ahead and select the downloaded document in your browser window, and now you can see there are no rows, but all your entries are there alphabetized. So I'm going to select all of those by clicking and dragging, hit Control-C, and now come back to your paper. And now I'm going to just replace them. And you can see that it put them all in alphabetical order. Now there are a few things that got lost in the process. These were originally italicized, all my journal titles and my book titles, but that's an easy enough thing to go back in and fix. I'm just clicking on the title of journals, or of, some of these are just abbreviated journal titles, and I'm hitting Command-I to italicize them. You can do the same thing with the I button up here. So you would just have to run through and do that, and then you're all set.